On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, Donald Trump wins the presidency. Will gun laws change? Will Hillary be prosecuted? And Freeze updates us on the Hugo Mauser. Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 46 of the John 1911 podcast. It's November the 9th, the day after the election. How's it going, Freeze?
Pretty good. I'm drinking a big, hot, steaming cup of liberal tears right now.
I had gotten up this morning, and I had looked at some of the social media footprints you'd been leaving throughout the evening, and it looks like you were probably up until, what, 3?
Yeah, I was up until like 3:30. It's 8:30 now, so
8:30 now.
I've gotten like 3 hours of sleep.
You know what? Normally when we do these, you get no sleep because you're up working all night. So.
Well, that's true. But I got up at I laid down about 3:30, and I got up about 6ish. You know, yeah. You know, I was frustrated. I didn't start watching any news until about, I want to think.
It's good to wait till at least 7:30.
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9 before I even turned the TV on, because I just, I was busy. I was doing things. I ran the company trailer down, set up a couple ground blinds. I was just doing hunting shit, and I got back, and honestly, I couldn't sit through hours of just listening to the dickheads talk about nothing, because, no polls were closed, no returns had come in, and I just didn't need to hear them speculate how Hillary's going to fucking sweep everything, So, so I turned it on, and I watched, just like everyone else was watching, and, the numbers were, coming in, but, about 2 o'clock, I was just frustrated. It's just like, I remember in 2012, pretty much everyone just called everything pretty freaking quick for Obama, And it's just like, this just goes to show you what we've been talking about for months, about how even Fox News hates Trump. I mean, Michigan and Pennsylvania are leaning towards Trump. It's obviously he won both states.
I can't believe he won Pennsylvania. I've gone on record repeatedly there was no goddamn way he was going to win Pennsylvania. And I'm sucking a big moose cock.
Yeah, by the way, I've already reached out to dude and told him to PM me with this shirt information.
He didn't accept the bet.
You know what? Whatever.
But let me tell people, a guy came in on our Facebook page, and he lives in Pennsylvania. I'm telling the listeners, a guy came in on our Facebook page yesterday, and he lives in Pennsylvania, because I told people yesterday that I was checking out of social media for a day, because I didn't need to listen to all these talking heads that don't know anything. I know as much, if not more, than they do. And I said, so I said, here's what you need to watch out for. If you're not used to watching presidential elections, here's some key things. Republicans need to win. They should win, expected to win, and what they will and won't. And I made a comment. I said, Trump's not going to win Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is where Republicans go to die. It's like this trick bag. I mean, every 4 years, because we should be able to win it, but we never do. This guy rolled in from Pennsylvania, and he's basically around Pittsburgh, and he's like, Trump's going to win Pennsylvania. And I was like, well, I don't agree with that. I said, I mean, he's like, well, around Pittsburgh, they're going to, there's Trump signs everywhere. And it's like, well, there's also Philadelphia. So I told the guy, I said, tell you what, I said, I'll make you a bet. If Trump wins, I'll send you a shirt, any shirt of your choice. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, I said, if Trump loses Pennsylvania, you owe me a box of 6.5 Swede ball ammo. And I gave him till 8 o'clock to accept my. He was talking, and I gave him till 8 o'clock. I said, "Hey, you got to accept my bet or not." And I thought it was interesting that when it came down to putting money on it, he didn't bite. So
yeah. Well,
was that on your end or my end?
I don't know. What'd you hear?
I heard a chime come in. Anyway, go ahead. So you're going to send the guy a shirt. That's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like 2:00 in the morning. The Washington Post and the New York Times basically called the election, for Trump. They gave him like Pennsylvania, and Fox News is holding out, and it's just like, come on, you goddamn dickheads.
The New York Times gave Trump Pennsylvania before Fox News.
Oh, before everyone. No TV or cable media gave it to Trump, and the Washington Post and New York Times both came out around 2:00 and gave it to him. And I'm like, look, it's obvious he won Pennsylvania. It's obvious he won Michigan. It's a slam dunk. No way Hillary can win at this point. Just freaking give it to him. But, they held out to... Actually, you know what? I don't believe they actually gave it to him till Trump basically came out and gave his freaking victory speech.
Really?
I mean, they might have chimed in a little before then. I could be wrong. I don't know. It was 3 in the freaking morning, and I was pretty much in a blur at that point. But, I mean, it was horrible. And I'll tell you what. I have been a long time not a fan of Megyn Kelly. Even before the election bullshit came up, I've always just found her to be a snarky bitch, and I just never really cared for her. You
know what? That is true. You never liked Megyn Kelly before she ever had her crosses with Trump. And, I've always been like, oh, she's smart and she's hot. So,
Well, I mean, she is smart and she's hot, but I always just found her snarky. And that little snarky half smile, that smug little smile, I just always wanted to just smack that smile off her face.
Coffee's going to come out of my nose. All right.
And last night, basically, it's just like, look, Trump's won this. It's in the freaking bag. Fox won't call it. No one wants to call it because no one wants to admit it. And she's rolling around kind of like not being bad or snarky or anything, but you could just tell she was hating life. And it was just like, see, that's exactly why I don't like her. And I'll tell you another person who I really, really have grown to dislike over, during this election is Charles Krauthammer. Seriously, that son of a bitch, all the way up until it got to the point where they even stopped talking to him because he's still trying to say why Trump's not going to win. And it's obvious it's in the bag at this point. And they just stopped even talking to him. I don't know, maybe they had to wheel him out to take a nap or something, but yeah, I just made a handicap joke.
Oh, you should have seen this guy. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, maybe they had to empty his bag. How's that? I have no respect for Charles Krauthammer any longer.
Okay,
really
let me give you a couple highlights that I discovered this morning because I did not know Trump won until this morning. Now, in disclosure, I started checking in some of the stuff on my phone. About 7:30, I checked for a few quick things, and then I was asleep by like 10, and I got up at some point, I had to go to the bathroom or something, and I had seen. Things were I guess when I'd fallen asleep, Trump, Florida was too close to call. North Carolina, at one point, North Carolina was too close to call, and he was having problems in Ohio. And I was like, holy fuck. So, and I'm like, well, here's the thing. And then I guess at some point when I got up, I guess he'd won Florida, he'd won North Carolina, but I don't think I'd heard Ohio. And I'm like, dude, if he's having problems in Ohio, he's no way he's winning Pennsylvania and Michigan. And if he doesn't flip a state, he's going to lose. And also, when I finally went back to sleep, I expected to wake up this morning and hear that Hillary's lawyers had flown down to Florida and they were challenging some counts. I expected this morning this not to be over. And I'm shocked. I'm happy as fuck.
You know what? That's fine. she can challenge Florida all she wants. I mean, that's that.
Well,
I mean,
hold on. I have a question. I haven't seen it. Did she give a concession speech?
No. She refuses to give a concession speech, but she did call Donald Trump and congratulate him. So that kind of gives her a little slimy loophole.
She didn't give a concession speech?
Nope.
Get the fuck out. Dude, if that was Trump, they would be bitching up and down.
Yes. But, here's the thing. Even they can go ahead and piss and moan about Florida all they want. The truth is...
Was Florida close enough to piss and moan about it?
No, not really. Not really. Trump pretty much took Florida by a fairly decent... I mean, not a landslide, but,
Florida shouldn't matter if he took Pennsylvania and Michigan.
Look, he took Pennsylvania, and that's exactly where I was going. She can go down there and piss and moan about Florida all she wants. He won Michigan. He won Florida. I'm sorry, he won Pennsylvania. The truth is, between Pennsylvania's 20 and Michigan's 16, dude, it doesn't matter. Even if they gave her Florida, it doesn't matter.
The last time a Republican won Pennsylvania, Ronald Reagan was president.
Yes. Matter of fact, I'm not 100% sure, but that might be true for Michigan as well.
That is very likely. I don't know for sure on that one.
Look, Michigan's a blue state. Detroit, the UAW. I mean, of course, Detroit's a ghost town now. But I mean, look, it is what it is, and that's fine. But look.
Hey, you want to bring up another person on your list of assholes?
Sure.
I heard it this morning because I wasn't watching the media last night. Okay, because I just refused to. I know how it's going to go. I know what to watch for.
Yeah.
Bill Kristol apparently got on Twitter last night at some point and was proud that he had kept the Republican Party from electing Donald Trump president. Now,
really?
Most of our listeners probably do not know who Bill Kristol is.
Well, but you know what? As soon as you said that, you know what that reminds me of? I think that chime was on your end, by the way.
Okay. I didn't hear a chime, so it was on your end.
Okay. Well, maybe it was. Look, remember, maybe the new kid, the millennials and the Generation Z won't remember this because they don't teach history in school.
Generation Z. Dude, that's like that movie, World War Z. That's a good one. I like that.
Generation Z is like 16 to 20. But anyway, because millennials and Generation Zers are stupid. And it's not their fault. But, it's the dumbing down of America, and they don't teach them anything. But there's an iconic picture that all the older guys out there, everyone should know this, but, since they don't teach history, whatever. But there's a famous
I know what you're going to say.
Picture from November 9th of Truman holding up a newspaper that says Dewey wins.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that reminds me of. Dewey wins. Wrong.
Hey, you know what? I wonder if I can get a copy of one of those Newsweek Hillary, Madam President magazines. Because here's the thing. They had two covers ready. Well, they had two, because they have to have a story.
I saw that.
But they printed the Hillary one.
Yes, I saw that, and it's just like, you know what? But here's the thing:
I would get one of those and have Donald Trump sign it. I could probably get in front of Donald Trump over the next 4 years.
Everyone should feel the pain, and they get to feel the pain of spending the money to print up all those slam dunk magazines so they could be the first one. And
Well, for a hard look, in their defense, for a hard print, thing, and I thought Newsweek had gone all electronic anyway when Huffington Post bought them, because Newsweek isn't the same Newsweek you and I grew up with. They went out of business, and HuffPo bought them, and so I'm like, wow, even Newsweek's printing a goddamn hard copy. They have to print it early; they couldn't wait, and they made some decision. And the stories that were written in there, like there's a feature blowout of Madam President Hillary Clinton. And, I've read some of it, and it's it's interesting because it's a story that was written before the actual election happened. So it's talking about how she ran this campaign and did all this and fought off Trump and all this. And it's I tell you what, if people that are younger and don't understand how media works want to learn a lesson, they need to get a copy of that and read it just to see what the media actually can write that isn't true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
let's see here.
Yeah, it's
Oh, did you because again, I've only really been doing this for a few hours. I mean, like an hour and a half really. I slept in late today. Did you apparently Rachel Maddow on MSNBC?
Oh yeah.
Did you hear what happened with her?
Oh yes, I did.
Let me go ahead and highlight this. So I guess she's on air with Mr. Not Tom Brokaw, but the guy that basically was telling all these war stories that weren't true, Brian Williams. And So they're running graphics, giving updates on the election. And there's a graphic, and Brian Williams is talking. You can't see him, but you hear his voice. And I guess at one point he's like, and we're calling North Carolina for Donald Trump. And you hear Rachel Maddow off camera, but her mic is hot, and she goes, well, that's a bitch. And then they called something else, and you hear, and again, it's the same situation. You can't see her, but you can hear, and she goes, ugh.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, at one point, and I was pretty much watching Fox News because, well, as much as disgusted as I was with them, they were the more palatable one. And I kept flipping back and forth between Fox News and CNN. And when I say flipping back and forth, it was probably like 80-20 Fox to CNN. Mm-hmm. But who's the gay guy on CNN? The white-haired dude.
That is his mother oh god damn it.
Oh shit.
He's actually, I mean, he's a very affable guy. Well, son of a bitch. I can't remember that dude's name. I haven't enough. I'm down my second cup of coffee.
Oh, goddamn, I can't think of his name.
Carson. I'm thinking Carson Daly, but that's the other. Anyway, people know who the hell we're talking about. You know what? I will Google it while
shit. I'm just drawing like a total blank right now. I think of his freaking name. He's sitting there, giving results and stuff like that, and of course CNN wasn't calling half the
Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper, that's the guy. And look, I like Anderson Cooper. I don't agree with his politics or anything like that, but I mean, I've heard him talk. I mean, I think he
seems like a fairly reasonable person. I mean, his personality-wise.
Look, he seems like a nice guy, unlike Megyn Kelly, who I generally agree with, but can't stand her. I don't agree with Anderson Cooper on any of his politics, but he seems like a nice guy. I don't know him personally, but whatever. So you could just tell he was being very, very personable. He was being very polite. He wasn't being snarky. He wasn't bitching. He wasn't, oh, woe is me.
Anderson Cooper generally doesn't lose his shit.
No, but I'll tell you what, you could just tell he was hating life.
Dude, you know what? Look, I'm going to be straight up here. I didn't think Trump was going to win.
Look, Wolf, yeah, I know, and I told you so. I'm going to officially say it, told you so. But look, Wolf.
Yeah, I had a mini mental meltdown about 3 weeks ago, and I was looking at all the numbers, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!"
It's the electoral map. It's the electoral map.
Yeah, I don't care about the electoral. That's what I kept saying. It's the electoral map. I don't care about the fucking over under.
I kept telling you, have faith, have faith, have faith.
You did. I'm gagging on a moose cock on the fucking goddamn podcast. I'm fucking glad too. Holy shit, I'm so goddamn happy today.
Dude, I'll tell you what.
It's like Christmas.
About 12, somewhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock in the morning, my wiener twitched. and I said to myself, God damn, I'm happier than I've been in a long time because Trump's actually going to win.
Fucking Christ.
You know? I mean, look, you know, I tell you, look, I'll admit, I mean, I was not, Trump's going to win. I was not in that court. I was like, have faith. It looks like Hillary's going to win, but it's close, you know, and you know,
they will change, people will change the calculus, either Republicans or Democrats, and they'll basically say we could have run a zombie and he would have beat Hillary. But the truth is, nobody but Trump would have won this election.
You know, to all the Glenn Beck / Ted Cruz lemmings out there, the truth is Ted Cruz would have lost. We would be having a different podcast today if Ted Cruz would have lost. Running against Hillary. Now, I know that's going to piss off a lot of Ted Cruz people, but it's the fucking truth.
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's just how it is, dude.
You know, look.
Donald Trump fights. And that's one thing I liked about Trump is I didn't feel like I had to worry about him. I mean, look, I wasn't happy with a lot of the stuff, but, you know, the thing is, we all kept waiting for Mitt Romney to start punching Obama in the face, proverbially. And it never happened. And, you know, what's one thing I like about Trump is Trump's a big boy, and when they drop some fake, crazy bullshit on him, I have faith that Donald Trump is going to start fighting.
Well, and here's another thing about Donald Trump that no one's really talking about yet. They will in the next, over sometime between now and the course of the next week, everyone will be talking about it. But think about his campaign. Now, granted, I mean, it's real easy to armchair quarterback another man's campaign, especially when you're not a politician or you're not in politics and you've never run a campaign and you're just some swinging dick sitting on the sidelines like me. But, you know, I mean, I criticized, you know, why wasn't he spending more on ads? Why wasn't he doing this? But you know what? Think about this. Who is Donald Trump beholden to right now? Like Hillary Clinton. If Hillary Clinton would have won, she's beholden to foreign nations. She's beholden to all these huge donors. Who's Donald Trump beholden to right now? Basically,
you and me.
Exactly. Because I believe, and look, I don't know. I'm not fact checking this. I believe this to be true. I believe Hillary Clinton kicked his ass on major donor donations.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But when it comes to like individuals, like guys like me and you and all of our listeners who donate $10, $20, $3.
I gave Donald Trump money. Oh, I did.
Well, but my point is, I think he actually beat Hillary on small, independent, like, I don't want to say independent donations, but little, you know, the guys that like, you know what, I can give up 1 cup of coffee this week at Starbucks and give Donald $5. Those are the kind of people. I think Trump actually beat Hillary on donations from like the little independent Joe Blow donors.
That's how Obama did the same thing
exactly.
to McCain and Romney.
Exactly. And when I say Joe Blow donors, I'm not insulting anyone. I just want to separate them from like the Koch brothers and George Soros and Bill Gates and the mega billionaires that dump all this money into a candidate's campaign. That's what I'm talking about when I say Joe Blow. It's not an insult. It's just the average guy who busts his ass at work every day and because he's going to give up 1 Starbucks coffee a week to help out the cause, you know, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, I'm gonna. CNN is running a banner right now. Apparently Hillary Clinton is going to will deliver remarks at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But here's the thing, 10:30 a.m. I mean, I'm telling you what, talk about low energy. I mean, everybody was up last night. You were up. I mean, maybe she couldn't be up. I'm telling you what, there's something up there with Hillary. She has to give what? I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised at this point if she rolls out this morning and she's like, "We're challenging the results in Florida." I just, I don't know how close things are because again, I wasn't up on that like you. But CNN's reporting Hillary Clinton delivers concession speech soon. So CNN is reporting it is a concession speech.
Okay, look, here's the thing. It was 3:00 in the morning. I actually, I think it was around 2:00 when her campaign manager, what's the guy's name?
John Podesta.
Podesta came out, in the hall where all the crying liberal weenies were at, and basically told them all to go home. It's 2:00 in the morning. It's too late. We'll address it in the morning. Told them to go home. Hillary's not coming out. And honestly, man, at 2:00 in the morning, I mean, basically the Clinton campaign knew they lost. It's 2:00 in the morning. People are tired. A lot of people, by 2:00 in the morning, a lot of people tuned out. Anyone who had to go to work wasn't awake at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So a good move not to give a concession speech at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Everybody else does. Everybody else typically gives a concession speech that night.
Nah, you know what though?
Except for since the 2000s. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
pretty certain.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's still some states out. And look, at 2:00 in the morning, did Hillary have a snowball's chance in hell? Yeah, kind of. I mean, if she would have swept everything, which wasn't going to happen.
Did she win Arizona, or did Trump win Arizona? Trump. Well, that was the thing, because I see the results here. So look, if she had taken Arizona and Utah was where the guy was running the spoiler campaign that basically was the buddy of Glenn Beck. Another crazy Mormon. Sorry, LDS folks, but it's true. It could have derailed Trump.
Mathematically, I think before, at 2:00 when they weren't calling anything, which by the way they should have been calling things, but they weren't. It was mathematically possible. It was slim to none, snowball's chance in hell type thing. But technically, if she would have swept everything, Pennsylvania, Michigan, New Hampshire, Alaska, she would have had to take Alaska. She would have literally had to take it all to even stand a chance.
I think Obama took Alaska one year, didn't he?
I don't know about that.
I think he did. It was maybe a protest vote against. Is it Murkowski?
Well, if he took it, it had to be in 08 when he was, 12 when he was going against Romney, because in 08 McCain had Palin, and I guarantee you they won Alaska.
Yeah. We're going out into the weeds a little bit too long. Did you see the dump trucks that they filled with sand they surround the Trump Tower with?
Yeah, I did. And I also heard, I saw a blurb that I heard there was a shooting at a polling place. I don't remember where. I don't know if it was in California.
I think it was California, but I never heard the follow-up on it because I tuned out.
I haven't heard anything follow-up on it either. I just heard there was a shooting. One person was killed and a couple people wounded.
I heard it was an active shooter situation. They were chasing a dude.
Yeah, and
who knows what it actually turned out to be.
They had the polling place on lockdown, but as well, first reports are always wrong. So, I don't know what the situation is, and I haven't heard anything more on it.
Hey, here's a preview as to what the mainstream media is going to call this. Van Jones, right? You know our buddy Van Jones.
Oh, yeah, fucking Van Jones. Yeah.
His quote is, "This was a white lash." Now, look, all these assholes talk about how, like Lena Dunham and all these assholes talk about how white men are going down in the, demographically, and white people are this, and this. And look, this is the truth, and they're going to spin this because they're all crazy, okay? The truth is Republicans and white people got Barack Obama elected, okay? That's the truth. Black people didn't elect Barack Obama. White people did. I mean, he had a good turnout. But check this out.
It's a numbers game.
But check this out. Check this out. And again, I've been telling people this. Black people like Trump. And Trump probably got double the turnout of blacks than Romney did. And that probably helped carry North Carolina. And if that's true, black people elected Donald Trump. Black people like Trump. There's a lot of black people that don't, but you know what? Those are the ones that get on TV. But there's a lot of black people that like Trump. And whenever they come out, they get called Uncle Tom and Coon. Well,
the black people that like Trump generally are the, middle class black people that, look.
Not the stereotypical black person, just like regular people.
Yeah, exactly. You're just your average black guy who has a family. He's solid middle class, whether it's, lower middle class, upper middle class, call it whatever hell, is there any upper middle class anymore? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys that go to work, raise their family, a lot of those guys do like Donald Trump.
They do.
And don't like Hillary.
They listen to Jay-Z and they like 50 Cent and they voted for Donald Trump. And the media can't handle it.
And look, your stereotypical welfare. Remember in 2008, the lady who hung naked on the lamppost saying she's going to get a free house and free gas because Barack Obama.
I don't know about naked on the. What are you talking? I mean, I remember the woman. I don't have to. She's like, I don't have to. I have to worry about paying my mortgage or paying my rent and this. Yeah, I don't know about naked on. I don't know naked. I don't remember the girl being naked.
Yeah, I think she was naked, but whatever.
No, she wasn't, dude. I know we're both getting old, but holy shit, are you losing your mind?
Maybe. Maybe. I haven't had a whole lot of sleep, and I'm pretty hopped up on caffeine.
So this is what the liberals felt like in 2008.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's a good feeling.
So how do you think the president of Mexico feels right now?
Look,
they knew something was up because they came out yesterday or the day before, said we're prepared for a surprise. Also, did you hear that yesterday the Clinton campaign canceled the fireworks display scheduled for New York?
Yes, I did.
What was that about?
Here's how they're spinning it. Hillary Clinton is super superstitious, and she canceled it because she didn't want to jinx her campaign.
Well, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Because they all said that about Nancy Reagan. She was superstitious, not Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Nancy Reagan went to a psychic and all that shit on a regular basis. I think they even had a White House psychic at one point. But
here's what a lot of people don't know. There's a company out there, and the media outlets pay big money to this company. And this company, what they do is they run exit polls. They set people up at all these polls, and they, if you go and voted yesterday and somebody asked you who'd you vote for, that was that company. There are different people, the campaigns run exit polls, and then there's private companies that run these exit polls. Or in some cases, the campaigns pay these companies to run these exit polls. So here's the thing. The media knows all day, because they get updates all throughout the day, what the exit polls are. Again, but people can lie. That was the thing with Obama. They were like, well, people aren't telling the truth. They voted for the black dude. But they were getting updates all day, but the media will not publish it. The media will not publish the numbers until the first polls start to close, because they don't want to, quote, suppress the vote. However, when Democrats are doing well, those numbers tend to leak early. Exit polls are showing favorable whatever for a Democratic candidate, whatever, X, Y, or Z. The numbers didn't leak at all yesterday.
Well, let me tell you something, and this really doesn't have anything to do with your numbers leaking, but let me tell you something that I found that was interesting. When I went to vote yesterday, and I won't mention his name, but he is one of our representatives for the House.
Okay, yeah, I know. I can guess.
No. You can't guess. I mean, you can guess, of course, but it's not who you think I'm talking about.
Okay, all right, I'm wrong. Okay, then I'm wrong.
Anyway, I don't know the man. The guy you're thinking of, I actually know.
Okay,
but
all right.
This guy, I don't know him. I mean, I've seen him because he's, whatever. But I don't know.
Is he the military guy?
No, he's got white hair.
Yeah, he's a military guy.
So, anyway, he's at my polling place yesterday when I go in to vote. And he's standing outside, and he's got a handful of flyers.
Is he allowed to do that?
Yeah, because he was the required footage away from the entrance of the polling place.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. Was he handing out flyers to vote for him? No. Check this out. I do this because I will not vote for a Democratic judge. So because judges never have their political affiliation on the ballot, I always go online and I look up the judges that are on the ballot and I find out who's a Republican and honestly, I know most of the Republicans, but, just to make sure that there's no one running I'm not familiar with, because I don't want to vote for a Democratic judge. It's the way I am. So he's out there with flyers and he's just like, do you know your judges today? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I do. I said, because I looked him up. And he's like, well, I got a flyer here. I said, no. I said, I'm good. I said, I know who's a Republican and who's a Democrat. And he's like, good man. But he was out there pimping for judges.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
What's up with that?
I don't know, but he was basically vote for, obviously he's a Republican. So he's like, vote for the Republican judges.
He's a U.S. congressman pimping for county judges.
Yes.
That's interesting.
I thought it was very interesting. And like I said, he wasn't pimping for himself. Matter of fact, if you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't have known who he was.
I thought it was a guy with white hair handing out flyers.
Yeah, but I happen to know who he is. So but yeah, if you didn't know that he was a member of the House running for re-election, you wouldn't have, you would have had no clue because he wasn't trumping. Pardon the pun. He wasn't campaigning or stumping for himself. He was stumping for Republican county judges. I don't know why, but I found it interesting.
That is, that's actually good to see.
I'll
tell you what. So, look, Donald Trump is probably still sleeping. So before he gets up, the hard work's got to start. And so I actually made a post this morning when I got up and saw that Trump officially had won, unless the Electoral College tries to do something crazy, which would start insurrection. But I fully expect the Republican House, the Republican Senate, and the Republican President, especially since one of the Republican President's sons has been going around the country talking about how he's pro-gun, because he's very pro-gun. He's a Class 3 collector and shooter, the dark-haired boy. We actually tried to get him on this podcast, but then there was an issue, and then, they were like, nope. So because something else had happened, nothing to do with us. But I want 922R gone. I want the import bans gone, and I want them to pass a law that says it's legal for these military surplus weapons that were made in the United States that are sitting in all of these arsenals around the world to be able to come back into the U.S. because they can do it under some historical clause. But, some of this bullshit with these guns that's been rolling since the late 80s and into the 90s needs to go the fuck away. This is not like passing Obamacare. Some of this is executive order and some of it is a simple law. Boom, boom, sign. I want this shit gone.
I want it gone too. I don't know if what you're saying is going to come to fruition, but I will say this. If what you say does actually happen, if 922 goes away, if the import ban on U.S.-made firearms goes away, this is the best chance we'll ever have of that happening, probably in the last 40 to 50 years.
George W. Bush wasn't pro-gun, and a lot of people don't realize that.
And that's the thing. No, he was not pro-gun. I mean, he wasn't hardcore anti-gun, but he kind of just like, his attitude was like, whatever.
Yeah. He actually said, if Congress renews the assault weapons ban, I'll sign it.
Yeah, well,
now, he had a Republican-controlled Congress, but he didn't give two shits about my fucking gun.
Yeah,
rights.
well, and remember, Bush won after Reagan was shot, turned in his life membership to the NRA. So neither Bush was really pro-gun.
Yeah, Bush 1, I think, turned in his, he turned in his membership to the NRA, after, I think it was Wayne LaPierre, or someone from the NRA was criticizing the ATF after Waco, and for their, quote, jackbooted tactics. I think that was Waco. And, turned in his NRA membership.
So, so basically, the Bushes were not pro-gun. And, oh, by the way, all you Jeb Bush fans out there, don't think Jeb was going to be the anomaly in the Bush family.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, look, I was talking last night, about George and Laura, and the question came up is, did they vote for Hillary? Because they said they weren't going to vote for Trump, and it's
they apparently didn't vote.
No, actually, they did vote. They did a write-in vote, and they voted for Jeb. So my response was, fuck the Bushes. Fuck Laura. Fuck George.
Look, my opinion on Laura and George at this point, I gotta give George W. some credit here. Okay, he has handled himself as a post-president immaculately.
Yes, he has.
And you know what? His brother was running. He's basically the last Republican president, so he's kind of like a titular head of the Republican Party in a way. And so he's got to have an opinion. And I don't hold it against a W for supporting Jeb or writing in Jeb. And you know what? As long as they go away back into retirement, and here's the thing, George W. doesn't want any part of any of this horse shit. He's done. And I'm not even worried about that.
But
Lindsey Graham, on the other hand, that motherfucker needs to walk the plank.
Look, here's the thing. I'm a me. I'm a burn the house down kind of guy.
No, really?
Yeah.
My business partner gets mad.
So
the reason we record these fucking things is so I can keep you reined in from raging and screaming at me. So it's too embarrassing.
Hey, I've already said I told you so.
Yeah. Dude, I am so glad to be fucking choking on a moose cock this morning. I am so goddamn happy. And you can send that guy a fucking shirt. Because you know what? If he had taken my bet, I would have wanted that box of fucking ammo.
Well, yeah, exactly. And if he sends me a PM, because I don't have any of his information, if he sends me a PM, I will send him a shirt. If he doesn't send me a PM, well, guess what? No free shirt.
But again, people will get on the internet and say anything, but when I asked the guy to put some money up,
hey, you know what?
Well, he just it got quiet.
Yep.
Because I don't post shit on the internet that I just random bullshit that I don't believe. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't say, because I'm in a position, because I'm a semi-public person, I can't say shit that I can't defend. Because my word is more important to me than my money. And that's just a difference between like the position you and I are in versus random people on the internet that will say anything. They will say what they wish would happen, not what they know will happen.
Well, yeah, and that's true.
On both sides of the fence.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Teddy, you are killing me, dude. One of our regulars just chimed in and posted a comment, and he's a pretty witty guy. He's just like, oh, he did win Pennsylvania. 1600 Pennsylvania.
Oh, damn. Dude. Oh my, I didn't even see that coming.
Neither did I. Wow.
Okay. You know what? I'd send him a PM and send him a message, tag him and be like, dude, you want a shirt? Pick a shirt. We'll you get a shirt. We'll send you one. I'm so happy this morning. See, he did win Pennsylvania. He's kicking my ass because I publicly said that Trump would not win Pennsylvania. And you know what? I'm choking on a fucking moose cock. That's for Pat Rogers, by the way. Yeah. That was good.
Dude. Wow. Post of the freaking week.
Right? That's true. We do have like a hardcore cadre of people on our Facebook page that we know people on our Facebook page. I mean, we monitor it very closely, and we have a hardcore group of very witty people that roll in with stuff, and they're fast. And we've had some rolling. I mean, there's been comments on our Facebook page. We've all been just falling out over here.
Hey, look, I'll tell you what, though. Here's a good meme, and I'm not going to give it post of the week because it's a meme and not an actual statement, but a guy named Khalil just rolled in with a meme, and it's got like a screenshot from like the TV. It says, and it's circled, it says, Clinton will not speak tonight. And the comment below it is, not the first time Clinton ignored something important at 3 a.m. It's like,
holy
ouch,
fuck, dude.
Ouch. I mean, look.
I'm telling you, that's true. I've been saying this for Hillary Clinton she does not have the stamina for this job. And, there was a video that came out, the night before last, she was getting off a plane and Bill was walking her to her armored vehicle, and she was staggering. And, look, she's 70 years old, she'd been campaigning all day. She's probably tired, but she was, I didn't know if it was a 70-year-old woman that was just having a hard time walking or whether she was drunk.
Maybe a little of both.
Because there's supposedly she's had some alcohol issues. And that never got any public. Nobody ever actually ascribes that to her. But they still ascribe George W. being a drunk.
Hey, look, no one likes to take a shot or two before work more than me. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I mean, look, we've been talking about Hillary's health issues for months, and maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong, I don't know, but it's really, I know a lot of liberals, a lot of lefties out there ignore the whole health issue thing. I know this for a fact because I know Democrats that are Hillary fans, and Hillary can do no wrong. Benghazi's a joke. The emails are a joke. I mean, they justify and explain away all her shortcomings. Is like, it doesn't really matter. It's not true. It's a right-wing conspiracy to discredit her. Everyone's heard the arguments. And when it comes to the health, they just ignore it. They're like, she's in fine health. This is just the right wing trying to get it. But look, there's enough evidence out there to show that she has health issues. Maybe the health issues aren't as big as we personally think they are, but there is something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's just been too many instances where she's been helped up steps. She's been drugged, where remember the photo of her being drugged into the SUV, I mean, on 9/11. I mean, there's just, when's the last time you saw a photo of Donald Trump being assisted for anything?
Yeah. Okay. You know what? You're right. Now let's go ahead and change gears, because we have to talk about the next important thing. This came up this morning with your brother.
Yes.
Is Hillary Clinton going to be prosecuted?
Well, and I made this comment. If she has to actually be charged to receive a presidential pardon, that's the question. Can she receive a presidential pardon without actually being charged for a crime?
Yes.
Okay, but regardless, okay, if she does, my point was, with Barack Obama's Department of Justice in the way they have carried themselves for the last 8 years, if they have to give her a pardon, don't think they can't charge her with something stupid they can make it happen, is what I'm saying. If you need to make it rain.
Oh, you're okay. I wasn't following you. You are saying what they would do is they would come up with some low-level mishandling of classified documents, misdemeanor, whatever, and then he would issue a pardon.
Exactly.
And so it wouldn't be for, like, basically treason. And then she would be like, nothing to see here. See, it was all cleared up anyway.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Now, look, if she doesn't have to be charged for anything, and that's the question you have to ask yourself. Can the president actually issue a presidential pardon without a person being charged for any type of crime? I'm not talking about convicted. I'm just talking about the charges being rendered. Because the thing is, with the Ford Nixon was actually charged. The House actually did charge him with like 3 whatever. They charged him with like 2 or 3 things.
Oh, they did charge him?
Yes, they did actually charge. The House charged him, but it never went to the Senate for prosecution, and he resigned before anything could happen, as far as him being tried and prosecuted.
And Ford came in and gave him a pardon.
And then Ford rolled in and pardoned him, but he was indeed charged. Now, here's the question. Do you have to be charged to be pardoned? If the answer is no, then I guarantee you on the way out the door he will pardon her. If the answer is yes, the question you have to ask yourself is, will Barack Obama let her hang in the wind? Or will he look at the big picture and say, okay, Loretta, find some bullshit you can actually charge her with, kind of give faith back to the people. Oh, you're going to charge Hillary. Fire up the people to show we're not total fucking dickheads. And then I can go in and pardon her on the way out the door.
That's an interesting question. I know where to get the answer from. Are you ready?
Look, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just speculating. But let me hear your answer.
The answer to whether she has to be charged to get a pardon, I believe, is in the second greatest movie ever made. The first greatest movie is Being Kelly's Heroes. The second greatest movie is Escape from New York. And in Escape from New York, when Bob Houck was sitting across from Snake Plissken and they were negotiating going in and getting the president, irony here when you think about it, they issued a pardon, the presidential pardon for all crimes, whatever known and unknown or whatever. Of course, I'm joking. You can't based off a movie. The truth is, dude,
it's Escape from New York. You can base it off that,
dude. You know what? that has more standing in the U.S. Supreme Court than international law should, because it is Escape from New York. Bob Houck, hey, he flew, and Snake Plissken flew the Gulf Fire over Leningrad.
Exactly.
So come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Look. I don't know. That's a wrinkle. I've always assumed you don't need to be charged to get a pardon. I'm sure a constitutional attorney would know better than us, and we'll have to see what happens. Here is my position on Obama. This is the real political conversation now. Whatever Hillary was doing, if Obama cannot shield himself through executive privilege and he's going to end up getting dinged on it as well, he'll pardon her. if Obama is shielded by it and basically can, claim, basically she was doing what she was doing and, I wasn't really a part of it. I didn't really know a whole lot about it. Yeah, her server was whitelisted so she could email me, and somebody if they can determine that it won't really hurt him, if they can segregate the two, he's going to let her hang.
Yeah, you know what? And I can't even argue with you on that.
Because you know what? Because Obama campaigning for Hillary is like like some of these people that having to deal with Trump and Jeb and all that. They're doing what they have to do. Look, Obama fucking hates the Clintons. And you know what? Is Obama going to trash his legacy to save that bitch? I mean,
you know what? Here's the thing. He's got to worry about Trump trashing his legacy. He doesn't need any more bad mojo coming down. But look, you know what? Let me interject something here that's just funny as hell to me. And this has nothing to do with Obama and Hillary and all that shit. I'm just going to totally get off the subject.
All right.
So my brother, who we mentioned earlier, is let's just say he's in New England, and he's a minority in New England because he's like one of like 4 Republicans that live in New England.
Him, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Who's the 4th one?
Joe the plumber.
Yeah.
So anyway, he has a video, and it's literally a 7-second video of Grandpa Freeze, our father.
Yeah.
You know those wooden train whistles you can buy at like Cracker Barrel? It's just like a big wooden stick, and when you blow in it, it gives the train whistle sound.
I have boycotted Cracker Barrel since I had to stop going there because of my ex-stripper girlfriend. So, no.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, but... Oh, good Lord. Okay. Got ex-stripper girlfriend? Really?
No, dude, she loved Cracker Barrel.
Dude,
she was kind of a trashy girl.
And you're going to tell me she was... No, you know what? I don't want to talk about your ex-stripper girlfriend.
All right.
Because if she's an ex-stripper girlfriend, I've probably seen her naked.
A lot of guys have seen her naked.
Well, yeah, hey. But no, seriously, getting back to the subject here. It's a 7-second video that my brother posted online, and it is just, it's killing all his family and friends up in New England, because it's the old man with one of these wooden train whistles, and I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about, and he blows it, and his comment is like, here comes the Trump train, or something like that. Oh, man, it's a hoot.
That's funny.
And look, here's the thing. All of the Midwestern relatives are like tagging and sharing the video. It's like going viral with all the family members.
Facebook actually gives a lot of favoritism to videos, so it's showing up in everybody's news feeds, I guess.
Yeah, basically. Oh,
so,
man.
I tell you, we're in a pretty good mood this morning. You know what? Here's the thing. We are just doing this episode. We are just flying by the seat of our pants. We got no show notes. We got no topics. I woke up to Christmas, and Donald Trump is president of the United States. And let me tell you something. Right now, I'm going to say this too. Somebody who's probably woke up today and has realized he's way behind the work curve is Chris Christie. Because Chris Christie is the person who is the head of the Trump Transition Committee.
Yes.
And I guarantee you that Chris Christie is probably not as far along as he should be.
Well, look, you know my feelings on Chris Christie. I mean, it is what it is.
Trump likes Christie.
And that's fine. Trump's a New Yorker. It doesn't shock me that he
Chris
likes
Christie was the first mainstream Republican to support Trump.
Look, let's be honest here. Donald Trump is not going to be like some super conservative Reagan-esque president.
He's not.
You know,
he's a deal maker.
I mean, he's got a lot of he's a New Yorker. He's got a pretty heavy liberal background. You know, but with that being said, he's a brilliant businessman as well. I mean, look, I don't like Chris Christie, and look, my whole reason for not liking Chris Christie is because he's a New Jersey dick who basically is anti-gun, who likes to portray himself as pro-gun, and that's what pisses me off. Look, if you're anti-gun, you're anti-gun. I have friends that are fucking socialist goddamn Democrats. I mean, they walk the socialist slash communist line, you know? They don't believe they do, but they do. And that's okay. I don't dislike them for it because they are what they are. And they are friends of mine, and I accept that because, you know, that's what they are. Chris Christie, on the other hand, tries to portray himself as, a good guy, good Republican, pro-gun, but yet he's so anti-gun. It's just like, fuck you, Chris.
People get arrested in New Jersey for illegally having guns all the time. He doesn't do anything about it.
Dude, people get arrested in New Jersey for having antique flintlock pistols, and he doesn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. We have gone public. Like when he was running, we were like, "Oh hell, fucking no."
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I don't like Chris Christie.
So we went with the Manhattan business guy. Whatever with the. I mean, that's, look, Donald Trump is a Manhattan business guy. He's not a gun guy. He's not a racist. Donald Trump couldn't walk through one end of the woods to the other without dying.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's the thing. Is Donald Trump going to have an awesome presidency and I love everything he does? No. I guarantee you he's going to do things that I'm just going to be like, son of a bitch. Really? But I have faith that in the long run, it's all going to be good. And look, we just got through 8 years of Barack Obama. Tell me 4 years of Donald Trump is going to be worse than that.
Well, here's an interesting point that I was making about Barack Obama, and nobody talks about this. And this is where, Fox doesn't talk about it, CNN doesn't talk about it, the campaigns don't talk about it, even the Trump people don't talk about it. Okay? The Congress is supposed to have the power of the purse. All right? They have the authority through the Ways and Means Committee to raise taxes. The executive branch, because they run the government, are the people that are supposed to put together a budget. When was the last time our government passed a budget? We don't do it under Barack Obama, and nobody talks about that. That's insane, dude.
It is, and honestly, I can't give you an answer to that. I guess maybe when Bill Clinton was president, maybe?
No, George W. Bush submitted budgets. They submitted budgets every year. The Bush administration submitted budgets every year. Now they had they would have fights. What they would do is they would have the regular budget, then they would have the war resolution. So they would have like an extra funding that would be outside of the normal budget, and then Congress would vote on that to pay for the wars. But they submitted a budget. Obama, I don't even know if Obama's government submitted a budget to Congress even the first year. If they did, I think they only did it once. Because the reality is Obama's presidency, they don't have a budget, and nobody talks about that. That's insane.
Actually, what I was thinking about with Clinton is the balanced budget, not submitting a budget.
Oh yeah, balanced budget.
I believe the last time it was balanced was
under Bill Clinton because of the drawdown because of the Cold War.
Yes.
Coming to an end.
Yeah. And I mean, look, the whole budget thing with Barack Obama has been a joke.
Oh, it's terrible.
I mean, it's borrow and spend, borrow and spend, borrow and spend. Don't worry about the budget. It doesn't matter. Matter.
We could have Republican presidents for the next 15, 20 years, and we could still collapse because look, this is the reality. When George W. Bush basically decided he could run a $1 trillion or $2 trillion deficit, And it was Katie bar it was basically, it was no limits for the Democrats. And, Obama has what's Obama run, 9 trillion or something? I mean, we're like 22 trillion dollars in debt now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We have I don't know I haven't looked at the GDP of the country probably lately, but we typically are a $12 trillion a year economy. We might, I don't know. I mean, hell, we probably still are with the way we grow. But here's the thing. At what point do we become Greece and our bonds become worthless, our money becomes worthless, and it all collapses? I'm telling you what, this is not over. We could really be heading towards it. I mean, look, if you just look at the way things are, because right now, every year, the Obama government basically runs a $4 trillion a year. I think is it $4 trillion a year deficit, or is it a $4 trillion? Is it a $4 trillion? They spend $4 trillion a year, take into 2.1, 2.3. So, over the next 15 years, that's either, that's $30 trillion more of debt. And that's if we don't, do you think, look, is President Trump all of a sudden in 1 year going to cut us down to a balanced budget?
No. Oh, absolutely
hell no. It
not.
would fucking crash the economy. It would probably put us into a depression. Probably,
yeah. I mean, you can't just shut off the tap.
No, this is not even remotely. None of this is all, officially really good news. It is, but, this isn't, happy days are here again. We are in trouble as a country. So.
Yeah. Well,
right.
But.
Do you want to talk about hunting?
I want to talk about a Hugo Mauser.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I got to get those pictures up. Go ahead.
Those that follow our blog page know that, I don't know, a year ago maybe?
Maybe longer than that.
Maybe a year and a half ago, we bought a Yugoslavian Mauser. It's a Model 98. It's not an M48 or anything. It's one of the leftover, World War II German Mausers that the Yugos Arsenal refurbished.
So it's an actual actually was manufactured by the Germans.
Yes. And we got it at a good deal.
With a bayonet.
Oh yeah. We got it at a really good deal. And it was in good shape. But, it was, a lot of the parts were in the white. The bluing was totally gone. And it just, and because it's not a really, what I would consider a historical piece, I decided to just clean it up and redo it. And we're probably going to drill and tap the son of a bitch and turn it into a faux German sniper. That's probably where it's going to happen. It might be, hell, that could be a year or two down the road, but we'll get around to it eventually. Hell, it's taken me a year to play with it, But, so I've got it like 98% done. It's done. I just want to do a couple other things. I want to work on the barrel. The barrel's got some corrosion in it from corrosive ammo, and I want to kind of clean that up a little bit and just tidy it up. But I'll tell you what, man, that rifle, I cold blued, kind of. I used a Brownells product, which if anyone needs to touch up blue on a gun, I strongly recommend it. It's called Brownells 4440. It's a cold blue, but you have to heat the parts up with either a heat gun or put them in the oven. It's like a heat activated. It just kind of sets better than just a standard Birchwood Casey cold blue. And I touched up all the parts. kind of cleaned up the stock. Man, this gun looks like $1 million.
I'll tell you what, I got pictures of it, and compared to what it looked like when we got it, and then what you've done to it, it does. It looks fantastic, and it's going to be a great fantasy sniper rifle because it's not German correct. Because it's, I mean, like the Czechs have, they scrubbed most of the markings off this thing and then put their markings on it. The bayonet's a Yugo bayonet. You told me it's not even a German bayonet, and I mean, and then the gun had some rough edges on it, and it would be a good shooter. And it was, historically, it's not significant anymore, and perfect as a fantasy sniper, right up our alley.
Yeah, exactly, and we got it at a steal. I mean, the price was so right on it. It was, I'm pleased. It's one hell of a nice addition to the armory.
Yep. It's a good gun. I mean, it's going to be, it's going to be lots of good content for us, and it's going to be fun. We can do. We can compare it to one of the Russian snipers. We can have shoot-offs with it. We can maybe even shoot it in some of the Milsurp matches. So, I mean, it's just going to be, it's just going to be a good gun. And, it's not like we're doing anything to a gun that's, the collectors would get all upset about.
Well, look, you're always going to get the Milsurp douchebag that's going to get upset about it, and I say that in a loving way because for years and years I was a Milsurp douchebag. Yeah. I was that guy, But on the other hand, it's just like whatever.
Yep.
It's like whatever. At a certain time, you have to quit saying to yourself, what is the phrase I like? They like to bandy about.
Oh, I know what it is too. I'm a caretaker. I'm not an owner, or something like that.
It's like I'm not an owner. I'm a what's the actual word they use? At some point in time, you just have to say to yourself, you know what, fuck it. It's mine. I bought it. What makes me happy? If leaving it in its original condition and doing nothing to it makes you happy, then awesome. Go for it. But, if cleaning it up makes you happy, then go for it. And don't worry about what everyone else on the freaking forums say.
I mean, look, in our defense, we are pretty sophisticated gun owners. And look, we may not know everything, especially me. You know more about this stuff than I do. But we know enough to know when we're looking at something that hey, we should get an expert to look at this. And, in our defense, we had a Mauser come through here that turned out to be so crazy rare. We flipped it for big money and sold it to the same douchebags that we're complaining about, because if we had done something to that gun, that probably would not have been a smart move.
Yes.
Laying that gun next to this gun, to my eyes, untrained eyes, I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference until you had educated me on it, and even then, I still wouldn't have.
Well, when I first brought this gun to your attention, you're like, and I'm like, no, dude, really?
Yeah, seriously, I was like,
no, it's like, seriously. This, I threw a price at you. I think I said $1,500. It turns out it was worth on the collector's market like $1,900.
19 to 2,200, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I even lowballed it. I'm like, this is a $1,500 gun, and you're like, I don't know. And it's like
in Detroit, it's worth $300.
Wow, wow, great movie reference.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
But and that's a gun that you wouldn't want to mess with, because that had the condition it was in. And mind you, this gun, there really wasn't a lot to do to this gun because it was in really, really superb condition. But that's a gun that had significant collector's value, and if you want to get full monetary value out of it, you didn't want to mess with it because that's the gun that if you're a Mauser collector, you want in your collection. Because
to the non-collectors, I'm going to, in layman's terms, I'm going to try to explain what I think this was, Freeze. My understanding is this was basically an early gun, like a 41 production, that looks like it may have been reblued by the Nazis, or maybe it hadn't. It was original bluing, but I guess this came from a particular factory that where most of the guns that came out of that factory ended up just getting chewed up in the Eastern Front. So this gun hadn't been chewed up in the Eastern Front, so it made it uncommon, especially the condition. Is that right?
This gun had. It was a Berlin manufacturer, and they made a very low number of guns in this year. I believe it was 41. They only made, I don't remember the number, but the quantity they manufactured was very low. And the bluing on this gun was like an NRA standard. It was like, if you go by NRA standards, it was every bit of 98% plus. The bluing on this gun was immaculate. It had its issues, like all World War II era guns. It had its issues, but the issues were not overshadowed by the good things with it. And basically, a gun of this manufacturer in this year in this condition, it's just like if you're a Mauser collector. This is like this is the bar you shoot for. Are there better ones out there? Sure. But this gun with a mild cleanup, because, it had 70 years worth of, closet dust on it, from being in someone's closet. And by the way, it wasn't an import gun, no import markings. It was a bring back. This actually was a museum quality rifle.
Yep.
And that's what made it a $1,900 to $2,200 rifle.
It was a neat gun, but to my untrained eyes, all these Mausers look the same. I mean, I remember like the bolt, like the bolt handle, like the bluing on it, like people hadn't even this bolt hadn't even been wrapped. I mean, like it had no wear on any of the trigger guard, the bolt handle, the bluing was 100%. And because this gun hadn't been shot or racked, hardly.
Yes.
It was, charged. It was interesting.
The bolt body had very little wear and scratches on it. I mean, the bluing on the bolt was like 99%. And I mean, the bolts where all the wear really, you get a lot of wear on the bolt handle and the bolt body, but, just because of the nature of, racking the gun.
Well, doesn't Mitchell's Mausers, don't they sell all their fake guns with bolts in the white just because it's easier to deal with it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's
real Mausers from World War II. I believe the bolts were blued.
For the most part.
I'm not the guy to know.
There's a lot of different manufacturers out there, so yeah. So I mean, but like the bottom line is, this gun was like the bar you shoot at, because there's a lot of great Mausers. And like you can get a redone Mauser, like Mitchell's Mausers. They're all redone. They're all fake. I mean, they're real Mausers, but I mean, the rare SS Mitchell Mauser. No, it's not an SS gun. They made it an SS gun. It's not real. All their Mausers look brand new. Looks like they came out of the factory yesterday. And that's because, well, basically they did. The wood's all redone. And in some cases, I'm not even sure if they're not even newly manufactured stocks on a lot of the Mitchell Mausers. They're all reblued. They're all done professionally, but they've got fake
stampings on them too, don't they?
Yeah. Thus the SS. Oh, this is the rare SS Death's Head Mauser. Bullshit. Oh, the Death's Head Mauser that only concentration camp guards carried. Bullshit. It's fake.
Yeah, and that's, a lot of these guns, that's where I like to stay in the shooter realm and not the collector realm because, what was it? Something I'd seen the other day. Actually, yeah, it was, and this is a good, I had saved this just in case it came up. It was a museum I assume it's in New York. They have I think it's a Van Gogh painting.
Yeah.
And somebody did this big write-up on it and why they're saying the thing's fake. It's
really? Not
a real Van Gogh. And it's Van Gogh, the dude cut his ear off. And, I don't know if it's a $60 or $150 million painting, but, it's just a perfect, and the thing is, it's a fake, but it's an old fake. Like, the argument the guy's making is this gun was, or this painting was faked 150, 200 years ago, or whenever Van Gogh, it was faked a long time ago. So now you've got this painting that while it's got a lot of age on it, it's fake, but now it's moved into the realm of being real. And, anything that has value, there's a fake market out there. That's why, like, all the Civil War, like anything that's Confederate Civil War, a lot of it, people won't buy it because it's fake. And you're seeing so much. As a matter of fact, we're not going to go into it because we don't want to hurt anybody because it's none of our business. But you had sent me a listing for a helmet that somebody was selling for a lot of money. It was a Nazi helmet, and you'd seen this helmet before on the market, and it was fake. And you were like, that helmet's fake. And
I know without a doubt. I don't know the person selling it. I don't know the person. I don't know how they got it. I don't know where the chain of possession. I don't know what the chain of possession is.
$2,500 helmet.
And I have no doubt that the guy selling it believes it's 100% real. But I know for a fact, for an undisputed fact, that helmet is fake.
Yeah, it was an individual helmet. It wasn't like, that type of thing is. That type of thing is fake. I'll tell you what, but I want you to be real careful here because I do not want to get a situation where we end up getting sued or we have to sue somebody.
No, it was a German World War II German M40 helmet, single decal SS helmet, and in all disclosure.
I'm literally my fingers over the mute button.
The helmet was real. The helmet was real. The liner was real. The chin strap was real. The paint was real. The base paint was real. What was not real was the camo finish and the decal.
The markings or whatever, yeah.
And the SS decal was not real. Now, that SS decal would probably fool 99% of the experts out there. But like I said, I know for a fact, a 150% fact, without going into any details, that helmet was not a camouflaged SS helmet when it started out.
We're going to stop right there because that's where we're going to stop.
Yes.
But it's interesting. But here's the thing. 50 years from now, will that helmet end up in a museum?
No, it's not 50 years from now. It's right now. Right now, that helmet is a real SS helmet. And from now to the time that we have the zombie apocalypse and the world comes to an end, that will always be a real SS helmet.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's not. And I know that for a fact.
Yeah. So, if you're going to swim in the deep end of the pool, a lot of this stuff, if you don't know what you're doing, you better be careful. And the thing is, too, what ends up happening is you got a lot of money tied up in some of this stuff, whether it's a Mauser or a helmet or a Van Gogh, and then another expert comes along, and he or she is able to prove that what you have is not real, and you're about to lose your ass on it. And you may end up having to just have an argument just to protect your investment.
Basically, you just have to go. You have so much invested in it, you just have to consider it real.
Yeah, at that point you have no choice because you're upside down. Yeah, because your position has to be until you can get out of it, and that's why like when we talk about usually acquiring guns, you are heavily involved in the maximum prices we pay. Because you're like, we're in for this, above this we're not, because if it turns out not to be whatever, we're not going to get hurt on it. You typically set the prices for what we acquire in the Army.
When we go to buy guns, and this isn't 100% true, because, when it comes to, like for example, like, when you talk about like your Blazers and shit like that, I have to defer to you because one, I don't know the prices on them, and two, honestly, I don't give a shit enough about them to even educate myself.
Yeah, I'm the modern military tactical guy.
I leave all that shit to you. Okay, but on a lot of the guns we purchase, I use the same philosophy I use when I buy World War II items. Unless I will pay repro price for anything World War II. Unless I can verify it beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is without a doubt original, I won't pay over retail or over repro price. And the reason for that is because if I buy it at repro pricing and it turns out it is fake, I can at least, at the very worst, get my money back. But if it turns out to be real, score, But I know, look, in the 60s, World War II German visor caps and World War II daggers and all that shit, what happened is all these manufacturers in Germany that were making like visor caps for the SS and the Army and the Luftwaffe and the Navy. Just like here in the United States, you have a factory and you have, you don't magically, wiggle your nose like Bewitched and there's a fucking magical cap. No, you have parts. You have fabric, you have bands, you have bills, you have all these freaking parts, just like daggers. You have blades and you have handles and you have grommets and all these parts. Well, what happened is when the war ended, the factories had a shit ton of goddamn parts just sitting there in bins and they were never completed or constructed. So what happened is in the 60s, all these companies bought up all these parts from these factories and brought them into the United States. There are so many freaking German visor caps out there that are quote unquote real, and they are real because every component on them is 100% correct. The problem is they were never built during World War II. They were never worn by a German soldier. They were built from parts after the war in the 60s and 70s. Now, and here's the thing, in the 60s and 70s, when no one really gave a shit about collecting visor caps, they were sold cheap, is built from parts. But every one of those caps, I defy you to go out and find a visor cap that was built in the 60s from parts. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah, you can't find, they're all real now because they're 40, 50 years old and it's all real.
They're all real now. And that's why I won't pay. If I buy a visor cap, I'll pay repro price for it.
Yeah,
but that's it.
Yeah, this is, where we're explaining your kind of career and the things you were involved in, and, wheeling and dealing and even bringing stuff into the country and selling stuff. And, you saw the rise of the fake stuff and, you were like, I gotta get the hell out of this because I'm gonna lose my ass on it. And I remember it was just a few years ago. I had seen somebody in Europe had popped up. I don't know if they made these. Or what they were being kind of pimped around as like, oh, these are recovered in some corner of some whatever, but it was all these stampings for these markings for these rifles, and there's even companies now overseas that make these stampings. So again, like Mitchell's Mausers, you buy a gun, it's got these stampings on it that are, I'm just going to make up so I don't shit on somebody's stuff, some empire, and it's got some stamping of some royal whatever arsenal and crest and marking and unit and factory. There's stuff out there. You can buy all those stampings, and it's all fake as fuck now. And I mean, unless you know exactly what you're doing, you better pay repro prices, or you're gonna be like this. You're gonna be like this museum in New York with the Van Gogh.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have a $160 million painting that, okay, it's a fake from 150 years ago, which means it's worth maybe $2 or $3 million, but you've got 160 million in a Van Gogh that's now worth 2 or 3. Yep. You just lost your ass.
Donald Trump's going to have to do something about that. All right, we've gone about an hour and a half, so congratulations, Trump won. I'm happy as a clam today.
Oh man, me too. Me too. I'll tell you what. This weekend when we do some deer hunt, we've got a hunting camp this weekend. Well, man, we're going to have it's just going to make it that much more fun.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, people are going to be. I'll be Saturday morning, right?
Saturday morning.
I'll be in my stand, my typical stand. I'll made some arrangements. I'll probably be, 5:15, whatever time I'll be in my stand, and I'll basically be shooting, unless a big ass buck walks by, I'm going to be shooting 3 does just to fill the freezer because I don't bring any meat back from Montana.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And I'll be doing it with my fancy German Blaser rifle too.
Well, hey, that rifle should shoot something.
Yeah, well, it shot some pigs.
Yeah, well, it's got to earn its keep.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're going to save it. We got more stuff coming, but a guy I was with in Montana, he shot a mule deer at basically 400 yards. It was like 384 yards, and it's like, God, it was and it was a head-on shot too. It was a great shot. So everybody's, hunting-wise, real happy, and hopefully the luck continues. Hopefully we haven't spent all of our luck on Donald Trump last night. Hopefully we carry it through to Saturday.
Yeah, well, hopefully the mojo works through the weekend.
Yeah, the mojo. That's the phrase of the week. Mojo, hold on to Saturday. So. All right, well, this wraps up episode 46 of the John 1911 podcast. If you want to follow what we do as far as gun content or the shooting lifestyle, you can visit our blog page. It's john1911.com. If you want to support what we're doing, please feel free to visit our T-shirt store. That's tacticaltshirts.com. That's tactical, TSHIRTS.com. We T-shirts, long sleeve. We have everything now in hunter and safety orange. All of our T-shirt designs, in case you need to wear orange for hunting season. And just remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. And everybody, have a good day.
Yep. See you later.
See ya.